What's up guys, Earl here for Tech, and I know, just like me, you are also confused which of these devices are the POCO M6 Pro or the Redmi Note 13 Pro because, let's be honest, they look absolutely identical aside from the different branding at the rear. And for the most part, it isn't just on the outside, but they are also very identical on the inside. So in this video, we will be comparing these two devices' main difference, its camera sensors. So without any further ado, let's get started. These two devices are identical from the overall look down to its specs. For starters, both of these devices packs a 6.67-inch AMOLED display that supports 120Hz refresh rate, has MediaTek Helio G99 Ultra, and has a triple rear camera. We have a full review on both of these devices just in case you're interested in that, link down in the description box below. Now, one of the key differences being is the branding at the back, of course. One of which has the POCO branding and the other one has the Redmi logo on it, as well as the 64-megapixel OIS badge at the back of the POCO and the 200-megapixel badge on the Redmi. For specs, we got a triple rear cameras on both of these devices. And for starters, we have a 64-megapixel camera with an aperture of 1.7 OIS main lens, 2-megapixel sensor with an aperture of 2.4 ultra-wide lens, and a 2-megapixel macro lens with an aperture of 2.4. These are the camera setup that we have on the POCO M6, and it also has a 16-megapixel selfie camera. While on the Redmi Note 13 Pro, we have a 200-megapixel f1.65 OIS main camera, 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera with an aperture of 2.2, and another 2-megapixel macro lens with an aperture of 2.4. And for selfies, we get another 16-megapixel front camera. Now, on to the sample shots. Checking out these sample shots, as you can observe, the image on the POCO M6 Pro tends to brighten up the image a little bit more than the image we have on the Redmi Note 13 Pro, but saturation-wise, image taken on the Redmi are a bit more saturated, which we personally like as compared to the ones that we took with the POCO. Color reproduction is also better on the Redmi as it tries to match the colors in real life as compared to POCO's image, which sometimes tends to look a little bit pale to our liking. But then these factors can be adjusted in post to match the saturation of an image to your preference. Contrast, on the other hand, we think that the POCO M6 Pro tends to boost the dark tones a tad bit, so when compared, image has a better brightness on the Redmi Note 13 Pro. HDR, on the other hand, are both present and does a pretty good job on either cameras. As mentioned earlier, we have a 200-megapixel camera on the Redmi Note 13 Pro. To our surprise, we feel like it's more of a gimmick than a real capability of the Redmi's camera system, as it's not much of a huge difference between the image we have on the POCO M6 Pro. For the telephoto lens, we have a slightly similar image quality yet again, although we have a little bit warm image tone on the POCO M6 Pro and a little bit on the cooler side on the Redmi Note 13 Pro, but details in saturation are almost the same. Same goes with the 2x portrait shot, warm tone on the Redmi and a little bit cooler on the POCO. Both of these devices produce good quality portrait shots, as these devices really does a great job on separating the subject from the background. One thing that we did notice is that when we use the 2x sensor digitally zoomed into 5x, it is evident that the Redmi Note 13 Pro produces better image as we have a well-balanced contrast and saturation as well as good amount of details. Saturation is boosted on the POCO M6 Pro and the image also looks very contrasting. Image taken under a constrained lighting conditions, oddly, we have a much more detailed image on the POCO M6 Pro as compared to the ones that we have on the Redmi Note 13 Pro, as there are a noticeable amount of noise in this photo. Now, onto the next photo, we can see that we have a better image quality of the POCO M6 Pro. It doesn't necessarily mean that the image we have on the Redmi Note 13 Pro were unusable, but we just prefer the contrast and saturation that we get on the POCO's camera. Now, when it comes to video, both of these devices can shoot up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. Both produces buttery smooth image output thanks to that OIS baked-in on these devices' cameras. And just like what we have observed on the photo quality earlier, we also have a well-balanced video quality on the Redmi and a bit saturated output on the POCO M6 Pro. but nonetheless, these devices produces videos that are very usable, either it be just for capturing memories or for social media postings. Now, to conclude this short camera comparison of the Redmi Note 13 Pro and the POCO M6 Pro, it is really a matter of preference. And these differences can easily be fixed and matched in post depending on your liking. But these smartphones can produce quality images that is more than enough to share to social media platforms. In this comparison, we can see that both of these devices has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it mostly depends on the scenario. As for us, they're pretty similar in a lot of things. The 200 megapixel sensor that we have on the Redmi Note 13 Pro sounds like a cool feature for its glass, but in reality, you wouldn't really going to use it in day-to-day basis. Not only that, it will take much larger file, but the difference isn't really that noticeable. So which one is better, you might ask? Well, it comes down to your choice. If you are a Redmi or a POCO fan, both these devices can be a great choice in the mid-range segment. As for pricing, the POCO M6 Pro 4G is priced at 11,999 pesos for the 8 gigs of RAM plus 256 gigs of internal storage, or 13,999 pesos for the 12 gigs of RAM plus 512 gigs of internal storage variant. While we have a little bit higher price tag on the Redmi Note 13 Pro at 13,999 pesos for the 8 gigs of RAM plus 256 gigs of internal storage variant, and 15,899 pesos for the 12 gigs of RAM plus 512 gigs configuration. For the price, we think that the POCO M6 Pro 4G is a win here. But yet again, we have a full review on both of these devices just in case you are interested on that, link down in the description box below. And there you have it, guys. What do you think of the Redmi Note 13 Pro and the POCO M6 Pro cameras? Let us know in the comment section below, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, hit that bell icon so you won't miss any future uploads, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and X, and do visit gigrek.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Arel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.